Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're so excited to have you all here with us. There were over 700 of you registered for this, so I'm glad this is happening so we can all get our questions answered. I'm just going to give a few more moments for everyone to come in. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. And please keep yourselves muted throughout the training. We will be taking questions at the end as always, so there will be space for Q&A. And this will be recorded and posted on YouTube and shared, so everyone will be able to see it.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. I'm going to... Welcome. Welcome to the Parallel Event Organizer Training. We're very excited to have you all here so we can go through all the basics of what you need to know to organize a successful event, either in person or virtually. I'm going to hand it over to Ivy Cook, one of our co-chairs, and she's going to give you a quick welcome.
Yes, it's going to be a very speedy welcome because I know that you all have lots of questions, including myself, because I also have a parallel event that I'm organizing and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what do I need to know? So I'm glad to be here together with you. And as I don't think we gave the numbers yet. I don't know if Rachel's going to share that later. Maybe, yeah, you're going to share it. So I won't say, but we have hundreds of events happening in the 2 weeks of CSW, and they are both in person and virtual. And so I believe that many of you are hosting either one or the other, or maybe even both. And of course, we'll cover all of that. But for those of you who will be in New York City, we really look forward to seeing you here and welcome you. And again, get your questions ready, but also use the chat. We will monitor the chat as well and collect any questions that come up. Sometimes it's easy to forget the questions that you might have at the end. And so like if you need to put that in the chat, it's okay, but we will have time for a Q&A later. And I really thank Rachel for organizing us, and John at Huva. I know I can't see everyone on the screen, but I'm just curious to see like a show of hands with those, who have their screens up. If you like Huva so far, it might be kind of, as far as you've seen, do you like Huva? You don't have to participate if you don't want to, but I was just wondering, out of your reactions, we've just changed platforms. So anyway, I'm going to hand it over to Rachel. Thank you, John, with Huva.
Thank you so much, Ivy. And yes, we have about 387 in-person events happening and 344 virtual events. So over 700 events will be taking place during this year's NGO CSW Forum. And we're very excited and happy to have you all because you really are the bread and butter of this forum. So let's get started. A quick overview of the agenda and what we will be looking at today, how to use the agenda on the portal, the intro to the event page, how to manage your event page, how to make changes to your event page, using your own virtual meeting platform for virtual events, and other important info for in-person events, a little bit of participant engagement with your event, and of course, safety and security, and some other resources that will be shared. And then, of course, Q&A at the end, because I know everyone has a lot of questions. So let's get started. I'm going to hand it over. Oh, before I hand it over, there are a few notes. because I know these are some really common questions. So I just wanted to get them out of the way at the beginning. So if anyone's nervous, you can ease your anxieties. In the Hoover platform, the term speaker refers to the lead organizer. So this is just a feature of Hoover, so we can't change it. And I know it's been causing a little bit of confusion. So when you've been getting, the emails to set up your speaker form, that's actually your lead organizer profile. So lead organizers are called speakers in the Hoover platform. For anybody who was on the wait list, who picked a slot from the wait list, we are still working on uploading all of those. So if you don't see them up yet, don't worry, we are working on that. And also for some of the virtual events, the applications are still open, and I will share that application link in the chat shortly. But we're still getting them. So we're in the process of uploading them as they come in. So if you have a virtual event and you don't see it, that might be why. Um, there are no date, time, or title changes allowed for in-person events. Only virtual events may change the date and time because it's virtual, so there's a lot of flexibility there. But we are not able to change titles for any parallel events. Only virtual events can change the date and time. So hold your questions until the end because we will have plenty of time for that. And I'm going to hand it over to John Santiago, who's our wonderful account manager at Hoover, and he's going to do some demos for you so you can see a little bit of a walkthrough of what to do in the portal and on the platform.
Thank you, Rachel, and for everybody here participating. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Good evening. Thank you all for finding the time to sit into this training. For today, I'm going to be highlighting your actual events on the virtual platform, the portal that you guys will be utilizing in order to make any adjustments to your events information, how to add your streaming platform link onto your events so others can view and participate, as well as towards the end answer any questions that you guys may have. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if my volume's too low also. I know that's been a little bit of an issue previously, but what we're looking at right now is
It's a little bit low. I
okay,
keep
gotcha.
you. Okay.
Let me turn myself up. How does it sound now? Better or
Better, better.
sounds good? All right. So hopefully everybody could see my screen, but what we're looking at right now is the virtual portal homepage that everyone will be accessing to not only view your own event, but all 700 events live and remotely for NGO CSW69. The first thing I want to show everybody is the agenda, which will display all of the events happening throughout the week or 2 weeks that all the events will be taking place. You can go to each recording hour to view all the events. For your own personal events, you're going to have a section here on the bottom left-hand side called My Stuff. You could view my agenda. And for your own personal event, it'll be shown right here. And all of the information regarding your event will be displayed. Now let's talk about the email that you guys should have received to access your lead organizer portal or your speaker form. Those are the two terminologies we use over here, but they mean pretty much the same thing. You should have received an email that looks a little something like this. And within this email, there should have been a button that directs you to your lead organizer portal. Within this lead organizer portal, it looks a little something like this. Essentially, you'll be putting in your name and your information. But the important part here is the middle section, which is going to have your event. Like Rachel mentioned, the session title is grayed out, so it's unable to be adjusted, but your session description or your event description is able to be adjusted, meaning you could put in information about your event, you could put in text, links, videos, photos, etc. Below that, you'll be able to put in any associated documents that you want. And below that will be your live stream link URL, and I'll touch more on that a little bit later. As you scroll further down, it's just some other kind of like key topics and like talk points that you're able to add in regards to your event for other attendees, all attendees actually, to participate in. And for interactability, you can create polls for your event, and you can create up to 20 for attendees to also interact with. Now let's talk about the event page that you have and how to actually get to your event page. So like I mentioned earlier, within the agenda or my stuff, you can go ahead and search for your event page. In my case here, John Parallel Event Training, this is my event. And whenever you click on it from the virtual like portal, it's essentially a front-facing view of what your attendees or all attendees who's accessing this event will see. As you can see here on the right side, there's a Q&A for other attendees to ask you and for you to answer. Polls, this is where your polls will be displayed and for attendees to interact with. And chat will be any questions or any comments or any conversational sparks that anyone wants to have with either you or any other attendees participating with your event. Now let's talk about making changes to your event page. So similar to what I was mentioning earlier within your lead organizer portal, um, when you receive this, there may have been a chance that this has already been filled out, but if you need to make any changes, for example, right here, description about your parallel event, if I want to change this to welcome to my event, if we go back to my event on the agenda, this will change to welcome to my event when I click save here at the very bottom. Just delete that. And if I refresh and find my event again, oop, looks like it didn't update yet. Let's try this. Oh, the reason for this is because it's for a different event, not NGO CSW. So sorry about that. But in theory, this will change to welcome to my event, or it'll happen in actuality. All right, now let's talk about setting up your virtual meeting platform. Huvo works best with Zoom, meaning that your actual Zoom link stream will be embedded to your actual event on Huva, which will be shown right here at the very top. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Back here on the lead organizer portal, live stream URL, this is where you're going to want to put in your Zoom stream link or your Microsoft Teams link. So Microsoft Teams and Zoom is what we work best with, but Zoom is what is recommended. How this works is once you put your Zoom stream link in here and you click save, let me see if I could find a proper example for everybody here. But how it's going to be shown and displayed will look a little something like this. Hopefully everybody can see. But as you can see, this is, again, an example dashboard, not NGO CSW. But once you put a live stream link in there, your event will have this section. And when your live stream is playing, that live stream will automatically play on this as well. And whoever enters your event within our portal will be able to view your event in real time. For fully virtual events, how this is going to work is you will start playing your live stream via Zoom. So you'll start your stream via Zoom, kind of like how everybody joined this Zoom and our NGO admin started this whole meeting. It's going to be the same concept. You will start your Zoom stream on Zoom. and it'll automatically play on Whova as well. In regards to any support you have for your personal events, I want everybody to note this down. My email is jsantiago3@whova.com. I'll also put it in our Zoom chat. And if you do have any questions, I want you to send it over to me, but also have our dedicated support team copied in as well. Both emails I just put into chat. So if you have any issues at all in regards to your personal events, parallel event for NGO CSW, feel free to shoot it over to me with our dedicated support team attached as well. So that is my brief demo on the web portal, how it looks like for attendees, your tools to utilize to set up your virtual event and/or in-person event. And yeah, Rachel, did we want to open up this time for any questions, or should I elaborate on anything here?
Yeah, I'm just looking through the chat, and I think it might be useful to go over one more time, how to get into the portal from start to finish. So
Gotcha.
from the email that people receive, the steps to go through and
Sure.
manage the event.
Sounds good. So let me get that. So within the speaker portal email right here, right, there's no link for the web portal that's shown there, but I'll be happy to share the link with everybody here and show a demo of how you guys will be accessing it. So I'll be working with Rachel and the team to start sending emails in regards to this page that we're looking at. But this is how you guys will be accessing the virtual portal of the events. It is also shown on the Zoom chat now. The email that you received, like this, like lead organizer email from, that's going to be the email you will be using in regards to logging on. Oops. To logging on or creating your account here. Sign in using your Whova accounts. If you already have a Whova account using that email and you have a password, then you could easily just click sign in and you will be redirected to NGO CSW69. If you have yet to create an account, we do not create an account for you. So if you do not have an account, you will click sign up here. You'll put your first name, last name, and the same email that you used to register, which is the email address that you received the lead organizer speaker form from. You'll create your password, confirm your password, click I'm not a robot, sign up. It's going to ask you to kind of like edit your profile first and foremost. But after that, you'll be redirected to NGO CSW69's virtual portal. I could run through that again. And I'll share this link with everybody again. So this is the link in order to access NGO CSW69. It is in Zoom chat. Oops, I sent it to just Ruth. Once you click on that link, it'll direct you to a page that looks like this. If you already have a Whova account from your email address that you received the email from and/or the email you used to register, and if you remember your password, then just input your email and password, click I'm not a robot and sign in. If you think you already have a Whova account using that and you just forgot your password, then obviously click forgot your password. But I believe in most cases here, most of us probably do not have a Whova account yet. So you're going to click on sign up here, enter in your credentials, make sure it's the same email that you use for registration. and click sign up, and you should be redirected to our page here. If you are being asked for an invitation code, then you are using an incorrect email than what we have for you in the system.
I'm just going to jump in here really quickly and remind everybody that you need to be using the email address that you used at the time of your application. So when you filled out your parallel event application, there was a field to enter the lead organizer information, and that email address is the one that will be linked to your event. So if you are creating an account and you are the one that will be managing your event, you need to use the same email address in order to access the event. And I'm just trying to look through the chats. There is so much coming in.
Can I jump in? There was a repeated question about like the link, the streaming link. Now, if it's a registration link, that shouldn't matter, right? It's the same thing.
Registration link, could you fill me in a little
You
bit?
know, Zoom, you know, even for Zoom, you don't, rather than it being like a streaming link, it's like a registration, but Zoom also creates a registration. Is that okay? Is that to include that?
A Zoom registration page. You can include that. I believe it's not going to embed anything if it's not like a stream. Um, it also may give us an error if it's not a stream in itself. So if it's registration for your Zoom events, then my recommendation would be to put it on your event description first and foremost. And once you actually schedule your event and the Zoom meeting link gets created, that is what you're going to put on the section. If that makes sense. Let me know if I need to elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah, if I may, can I
We're
just
gonna, okay,
elaborate?
sorry, we just have a few more slides to get through and then we're gonna take questions. So before we get into, because I can see there's gonna be a lot of questions. So yeah, I'm just going to share my screen and go over a few more things and then we will get to all of the questions. So just a note about using your own virtual meeting platform. The Whova platform is not going to create your meeting link. So if you are hosting a virtual event, you will need to use a third party, so Zoom or WebEx, or some other platform that you are used to using, that you trust, that you know is reliable. So one thing you can do to ensure a smooth session is to do test runs and do a practice run of your virtual session. You can open the session as early as you like, 10, 15, even 30 minutes before the start time, just to make sure all of your speakers are in and everybody is ready to go. You can send the event link directly to the speakers network, which I'm sure that's something John can show you guys how to do. You can set up polls, breakout rooms, and interpretation directly in a platform like Zoom. And it's just like using Zoom for any other kind of session. You're just using the Whova platform as sort of like a meeting place for everybody to see your events, find your link, and all of that. So one thing that we do recommend is having a registration link, just so that you have a sense of how many people are coming. In Zoom, for example, you can limit participation to those who have registered. So it kind of eliminates unexpected Zoom bombing or any kind of disruption. We aren't able to provide tech support. As you can imagine, there's hundreds of events and we don't really have the capacity to support the event. So you will have to use your own meeting platform. So make sure it's something that you're really used to using and that you're confident with. Um, a couple of notes about safety and security. We recommend if you're expecting a high volume of participants and you're concerned about security to disable chat or Q&A and instead, do hand raising or calling on people. You can also host a webinar instead of a meeting using Zoom. And this slideshow will be shared, so you'll be able to click on this link to find more information about that. You can also disable participants being able to unmute themselves or turn on their videos. So these are just some security measures you can take. Again, limit Zoom bombing, require registration, and disable participant ability to screen share, unmute themselves, things like that. You can manage and monitor your chat, spotlight speakers, and in Zoom, for example, you do have the ability to remove any disruptors. You can also allow anonymous participation and make sure you are letting people know if you're going to be recording or taking photos just to protect, protecting your participants. And some important notes on in-person events. You will have 15 minutes to set up and 15 minutes to break down. And most likely there will be an event before and after yours. So we just ask that you're really mindful of the other organizers. You can't put up any posters or tape things or attach things to the walls or furniture. You will need to bring your own HDMI laptop adapters and your own laptops to connect to the projection systems in the in-person spaces. And we do have staff available to assist if needed, but it is limited. So we do ask that you try to plan ahead of time and make sure that you have all of that ready and with you. All of the events are 90 minutes and you must be out, like we said, of your room 15 minutes after the end of your event to allow for the next person to be able to set up and start their event. You can live stream. We've gotten a lot of questions about this. You can live stream or add a hybrid element to your event, but you will need to bring your own equipment to do so, whether that's a camera or if you want to set up a laptop that's going to be recording or streaming the event. We just caution that the Wi-Fi is not always super reliable in the CCUN or the Salvation Army just because of the sheer volume of people that will be using it. It's a public Wi-Fi. So we just caution that adding a hybrid element or adding a live streaming element to your event, it opens the door a little bit for technical difficulties. So just be aware of that. We do have limited time in setup and breakdown. So we just ask that you be aware of that and maybe have a backup plan if you do run into any technical difficulties. The venue rules for in-person events: no food or drinks besides water in any of the rooms. We already said no taping or attaching things to the walls or furniture. You can move chairs and tables around if you need to. If you're doing sort of a discussion or a round table, we just ask that you put them back as they were for the next organizer. There are no selling of products of any kind. No promoting books or selling anything basically in the room. And if an organizer breaks any of these rules, they will not be able to host in-person events in the future. So these are some useful resources for everyone to refer to. I will put a link to this page in the chat so that you can all have them. But like I said, the slides will be shared, so you will get these. Let me just put this in the chat. Okay, so we are going to go into Q&A in a moment, but I wanted to do a quick poll for everybody. We know that everyone has so many questions and, I've been doing my best to keep up with the inboxes, but there are so many of them. So I'm trying to think of ways that we can get to everybody's questions. So we're thinking of hosting parallel event organizer office hours for an hour on Fridays. And I would like to know if this is something that people would find useful. Is this something that you would be interested in, and would you attend? And I had a feeling this would be popular. So, okay, so we will send more information about that. And get that set up, because I think it's a lot easier to talk to someone face to face than sending, so many emails back and forth all the time. So that is very good to know. Thank you for that feedback. And let's get into Q&A. So I'm just going to go in the order of people that have their hand raised. I see Maria has a hand up. Oh, we can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, thank you for all the information. I have a very quick question. Can the organizer fill out the form for half of all the speakers of the, let's say, event, or in our case, it's a panel discussion. So we have around 6 speakers, and I want to fill out on their behalf.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to take 3 questions at a time and then get to each of them. So let's have Jessie next.
Hi, thank you so much. I wanted to ask, so my boss has been attending CSW for the past couple of years, and it's going to be my first time attending in New York. And I wanted to find out, so I'm the one who's busy uploading the information on the Hoover platform for our virtual event, and we're going to be hosting it on Zoom. And when I tried to insert the new topic that we have, it's not allowing me to. Our old topic from last year is still there. And then when I try to delete it, it says the organizer or the holder of the account is the one who's supposed to remove it. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do there. She's sent an email, but I don't think we've gotten a response yet. So I was hoping that maybe in this meeting I could get a response.
Okay, thank you so much. Constance?
Yeah, this goes back to Ivy's question, right? So if you're going to use a webinar and it has a registration link, what I want to know is where you have the URL for live streaming. You can't put that link to the registration there. You have to put it to your live event. And if so, if it shows up there, then can anyone access that event? Or they can only come in as an observer? Are you following my question?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I don't know what to put there, and I don't know if you can't use it if you have a registration link via Zoom for your event.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
To address Maria's question, so the speaker form, like we said, is it's a little bit confusing because it's not actually referring to speakers at your event. The speaker form is the lead organizer form. So when you get the email that says speaker form with a link to click on that, you will be filling that out with your lead organizer information. And then if you want to add information about your panelists or speakers that you're having, we recommend that you include that in the event description so that when people click on your event, they see the full description of your event. You can include a program, bios, information about your speakers there. There's also an option to add documents or PDFs. So if you have concept notes, or if you want to upload a PDF version of the agenda or the program, you can also do that there. So I hope that answers your question. With regards to the title, I believe, Jesse, you were asking about a title change. We are not able to change session titles at this stage. So whatever your title is, that will be the title of your event, the one that you applied with in the application. And as far as the live streaming link, I'm going to let John jump in if I'm mistaken, but I believe that you can put the Zoom registration link there. And then when people register, they will receive an email with the actual Zoom link that they can use to join at the time of your session. Is that correct?
That is correct, Rachel. From what I'm hearing, I'll get 100% confirmation from my technical team after this, and I'll be shooting it over to Rachel to maybe share with everybody. But yes, you should be able to put the registration Zoom link within the live stream URL of the speaker form slash organizer form.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to go to Shyla and then Hamed and Mylene.
Thank you, Rachel. You've answered some of my questions. So when we add the flyer for our event, does the flyer typically go to the top of your description or below? Because we spend a lot of time on the flyer, we want it to be attractive, go to the top. So that's one question. And do speakers as in our panelists, do they have to register on Whova, or can we just give them the link that we have put on Whova? And number 3, when I get onto the Whova platform, I'm seeing the agenda only in a column on the side. I'm not seeing the full view in the page. So where am I going wrong? I'm sorry, question 4. When I look at my description and my event, I see there are so many people attending. When I click on that button, it's not showing me who's attending or who's liked it, or I cannot respond to them. Apologies, 5 questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Hamed?
Hello, thank you so much for preparing this event. I already almost got one of my question about the adding other speakers as a panelist. To, as you mentioned, have to go to the form and then add it in the event description. And I believe that it could be as long as we want to put all the information, biography of those panelists. But I think it was Maria's question as well. The flyer advertisement flyers that already the Whova they already prepared. It's based on the speaker and the description of the who are the leader of the panel or the organizer of the panel. So it's me that I don't want to share it as with my picture and my information, because there was 3 other panelists as well. Is there any way that we can have create a flyer with their information as well, or or we have to just do it in our way, ignore that already exists flyer? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mylene?
Okay. Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. It's my first time at the NGO CSW, and I have a bit of a questions. By what I understood so far, I will just be able to broadcast it live if I have my own camera. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, and this camera probably needs like a technology to be linked to computer, I don't know.
Yes.
Needs equipment. Okay. Another question. So nothing is going to be broadcasted unless I have this camera, right? So in the I remember like 2 years ago that NGO was broadcasting a lot of panels, but this is all organized by the panelists, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, it was basically this. I was unsure. Okay, thank you so much. But I feel probably have more questions, but I will go to this off hour.
Great. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay, so for Shayla's questions, John, I'm gonna defer to you because I think you have a little more insight on this. When people add a flyer, where does it appear, and can they sort of showcase an image or have the flyer show up at the top?
Yeah, and as I remember, you guys did a lot of work on your flyers, which is great. They will be shown on the bottom hand side of your actual event on Whova. Probably not the answer you wanted with all the work that you put in, but it'll be towards the bottom.
Okay, and do speakers need to register for
Yeah.
the platform the
In
way
order,
that the organizers do?
if this is going to be purely virtual and you're planning to live stream it with the speakers in the live stream, then technically they could just join through Zoom and the Zoom link that you provide for them and, showcase their screen and talk. If these speakers also want to join through Whova, then they will need to register in order to access the virtual platform.
Rachel, this is not virtual. I think it was my name I heard mentioned. I might not be the only Sheila there. Well, I'm talking about the in-person event, whereas, we list the panelists and we put up, I'm totally at a loss this year. Don't know what to do.
Okay, I wasn't sure who that was. I'm sorry. So with the registration, people who are coming in person will need to register, as an attendee in the Whova platform. This year, because of security concerns, we will be checking QR codes to confirm registration, just to make sure that everybody who is coming in is a forum attendee. This is still completely free and open to everyone. We just need to confirm that people have registered. So Shayla, I'm not sure if that was your question about registering speakers.
Yes, it
No,
was.
Okay, okay.
yeah.
So there are two
that
options. They can be just use the Zoom and join,
Yes,
or they can
virtual.
register. It's their choice.
Yes, if it's a virtual event, yes.
They'll be
Yeah.
admitted.
Yes.
This is not my question though. My question is about, we usually get the form to complete with all of our panelists listed, right? Who is on your panel? And we can put up our flyer and it goes up on NGO CSW, whatever, at the forum, and that sort of thing. I haven't gotten anything, or maybe I got, but I missed it. I think maybe Ivy had sent it out, but I'm not sure. So where do we put our panelists so people know what the event is about and who is on the panel?
Okay, I hear what
For
you're
the
saying.
in-person
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, so that will be in the event description. So there's a description box that John showed us in the demo. You'll be able to type in there and add, your list of speakers, who your panelists are, what the panel is about, and you can also add it in PDF form if you would like, as a flyer or as a PDF of a concept note or a program. So all of that can be added in your event page on the platform. I think there was some confusion because we have a Sheila and a Shayla. So I'm just gonna jump back to Shayla's other question about seeing the agenda. John, are you aware of this issue of people only being able to see the agenda on one side of the screen?
So for the agenda, are we speaking of on the virtual portal or on the mobile app?
On the virtual portal, not the
Got
mobile app, the
Gotcha. So
virtual portal.
on the virtual portal, on the left-hand side of the screen, it should display a full agenda of all the days from March 10th to March 21st. And there should be blocks and labels for each day. Now, when you
Yeah,
say the agenda is only being shown on the left side,
Yeah.
could you elaborate a little more?
So what I'm seeing is I went to look at my own event and I can see everything, but the buttons are not functioning. But when I go back to the home page and go to the agenda,
Right.
all I see is either the strip at the top or with the dates, and then you get to click on that, or I get a column on the left. And then of course I'd have to change the date and I'll just see each one in a small column on the left.
Ah, I see.
In a
So
small column on the left.
yeah,
Yes.
so that small column on the left is by design if you click into a session and
Yes.
if you go on show agenda. Now, if we want to just view the full agenda again without
Yes.
this left strip, just click
Yes.
on the home page and re-click on
Okay.
agenda.
Oh, so you have to circle back and do it again.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and I did it and it appeared. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I think Shayla had another question about the description.
Mhm.
Could you repeat that, Shayla? I'm sorry.
The description, I think John did answer it. I think, and it was the answer any of us wanted about loading the flyer up where the flyer, the colorful, beautiful flyer is seen first, as opposed to going at the bottom, because then, you know, it doesn't get as much attention. If there's any way to fix that, that's probably a big technical fix.
Yeah, I do have a recommendation. So you are able to upload files as well on your event description. So if you'd like to display that at the very top, you have that option. That does have, again, a file limit. So those are your two options, either uploading your file on the event description itself, or just uploading the document, you know, and having
Oh,
it
okay.
shown on the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, John. For Hamed, how do speakers appear in the platform? So I believe this question is asking, you know, do you need to make a separate list, or was your question answered, Hamed, about the description? Was that kind of the question that you had?
The description was answered, but I was thinking of the already designed and prepared flyers, advertisement flyers. When we want to share it, it's
Okay.
my face and my name appears. That I'm the organizer, not just one speaker. I want to see if there is any possibility of having other having their names, or remove my face from that.
Okay. So I think, John, do you have any insight on this of how we can list more people under the event?
To list more people under the event, that'll have to be done on our end, Rachel. Yeah, by like listing more either co-speakers or co-lead organizers. Lead organizers themselves aren't able to add in, you know, more speakers to their event, because that's essentially, you know, registering them without them registering. So that'll have to be done on our end, Rachel.
Okay. So yeah, we won't have the capacity to do that. We have 700 events. So we won't be able to do that. But again, I really encourage people to use the description as the main space for showcasing the details about your event, because that's much more customizable, and you can add a complete description. I'm wondering, John, if you could do a quick demo of how to add an image into the description.
Yeah,
Oh, that
sure,
was so
sure
useful.
thing. All right, so let me go ahead and start sharing my screen again. So in order to add a file to your event description or pictures and whatnot, then you're going to want to first open up your speaker form or your lead organizer portal. Scroll down, navigate to your event description. There should be 3 dots here on the right. And on the bottom row, there's going to be an option that says insert file, in which you could search for a file, probably a PDF from your computer, to upload into your description, or a photo, which is going to be right next to it right here. Now, to just upload regular documents into your events that is not within your event description, then it'll be right under, which is documents.
Thank you so much, John.
Mhm.
Okay. I think, let's see, Todd, Sasha, and then Talia.
Oh, thank you guys for all of your assistance with this. My question has to do with the lead organizer. If the lead organizer is the one who has all the information and access to the page, how can they delegate that to somebody on their staff or team so they can get into the page and also add information?
Thank you so much, Todd. Sasha?
Hi, thank you so much for doing this. Two questions, both building on prior points of discussion. So one is we had co-sponsoring organizations from the event from what I think I understood John saying is that there's not actually a way for those organizations to appear unless it's a back-end fix on your end and you don't have the capacity for that. Is that correct? And if not, then how do we make sure that our co-sponsoring organizations do appear there? And the second question is, I think I'm a little bit confused about who needs to have Wahova account and sort of what link we should be sharing, because it sounds like anyone who is potentially attending our in-person event would need to register in order to be able to get the QR code, in which case, what is the link that we share out publicly to encourage people to get registered, sign up for Wahova, and be able to access the event in person?
Thank you so much, Sasha. Talia?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? First of all, Rachel, thank you so much for all of this. We have so many questions and you've been answering over email, and I'm very grateful. I speak for a lot of us when I say we're very grateful, and Ivy and everybody else. I just have a couple quick questions. I understand about food. Ours is an interfaith focused sort of event, and I'm wondering, and it's okay if it's no, could we light candles? And if not, we can just do electric candles. And would music be okay? I don't want to distract other events around us. So candles and music is my first question. Will we be given a list of those who register? My understanding is we can see a list on the app, but will we be given a list of their emails? Because I looked and we don't see their emails. Sorry, should I stop or?
No, keep going.
Okay, I have a few more. I'm almost done. Sorry. Is registering just add to my agenda once they're in the platform? Is clicking add to my agenda them registering? Is that it? And when will they get the QR code? Okay, sorry. I understand that there's PowerPoint capability. I understand that a screen will be provided. We just have to provide our own tech. Let me know if that's incorrect. Okay. I think that's all my questions. I may have more, but thank you.
Thank you so much, Talia. Let's see. So Todd, there's only one person with backend access, and that's the lead organizer. So you won't be able to appoint anyone else to edit the event in the platform. So we tried to really emphasize this during the application process because we want to make sure that people are able to prepare and make sure the right people have access. So whoever was listed as the lead organizer, that email address specifically is the email address that is linked to the event in the portal. And so any other email address won't be linked to that event. It's just that lead organizer email that has access. So I hope that answers your question. It may not be what you were hoping for, but I hope it answers the question. Sasha, for co-sponsoring organizations, like I said, only one lead organizer is linked to the event, but you can list all of your other speakers and co-sponsors in the description of the event. As far as who needs to have a Whova account for an in-person event, anyone coming in person to the forum will need to register, and that is how they will access the QR code. So I'm going to put the registration link in the chat right now. So that is the link that you will use to register. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, in addition to registering, people also need to create an account.
That is correct, Rachel. During registration and the registration process, there is the option for you to create your account then and there. So when you do download the mobile app and or access the virtual portal, all you're gonna have to do is put in the same email you used for registration and the password that you created during registration as well. That is an option. But if you forego that option, then yes, you will still need to create your account either on the mobile app or virtual portal. Hopefully I didn't make that confusing.
Okay, so there will be an option to create an account at the time of registration if you don't end up doing that and you only register and then you need to go back and create your account, it's, our URL, NGOCSW69Forum.events.huva.com, which I've just put in the chat, /sign in with an underscore between sign in. And that link is in the chat for everyone. And we'll also be sharing all of this in a follow-up email.
Rachel, if you'd like, I could quickly showcase creating your account on registration, like
Sure.
then and there, and then
Yeah.
the steps. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Give me one sec. Okay, so for anyone who has not yet registered and or are planning to share registration with a friend or with a peer, this is the registration link that Rachel shared within our chat. Essentially, you or them will click quantity 1, click next, answer the questions here, and at the very bottom of this page, right here, get a head start by signing up or logging in, which is recommended. The email that you put at the very top of this page will automatically fill out here, which will be grayed out. And you have the option to create your password here. So this is you creating your account during registration. Click I'm not a robot, and then register. After your Whova account is then created. Afterwards, all you're gonna have to do is when you navigate to the sign in for the virtual portal, you'll put in the same email and same password that you created during registration. If you did not do this section and click continue as a guest, then you will, instead of signing in, you will click sign up here and put in the same email you did for registration. Hopefully that was not confusing. Of
Thank you so much, John.
course.
Let me get back to my questions. Okay. Sorry, I was taking notes somewhere and I lost it.
Sorry if I threw you off.
No, it's okay. Just too many tabs open. Okay, I think I remember the other question. I can't find where I was taking notes. But I believe this was actually, I think Shayla also had this question. When people see how many people have, clicked add to my agenda, is that something they can access? Can they communicate with those people? Can they see their email addresses? Is that it's my understanding that when an attendee clicks add to my agenda, that's essentially the same as, registering. Oh, please keep yourselves muted. It's essentially the same as registering unless you, as an organizer, have created a separate registration process, either through a Google form or some other sort of, registration or email collecting page. Is that correct?
So for the ability to view who registered or added a specific session on their agenda, you as the lead organizer on the virtual portal, and if I were to share my screen again, you will have a list of those who registered for your events under My Stuff, Speaker Hub, and you'll be able to view everyone who added your events on their personal agenda here. In regards to communication, you will not see their email. Everyone's email will always be hidden, and you will need a request to view that information first and foremost, but you will have a list of the people attending your session here. As for the second part of your question, Rachel, could you repeat that, please?
So when people add to their agenda, that's essentially registering through the platform, unless you have another third-party registration method, like a Google form or something like that.
For a specific event from the organizer, yes, that is pretty much the attendee registering for your event.
Okay, thank you so much. And then And Taylor, please tell me if I forgot any of your questions, but I think your other question was about using candles.
Yeah, and that music.
And music. I'm going to defer to Ivy for her institutional memory on the candles question. Ivy, I'm not sure if you have any insight on whether the CCUN allows that.
Well, yeah, we cannot, even on a normal day, I think burning candles is not allowed, unless it's really, because I think even there's a chapel space on the first floor. And even that, I believe they're using electric candle. I don't think they're candles, but yeah, it's just for safety reasons.
Makes sense. And music is fine?
Music, I don't see an
Music is
issue.
fine.
I don't see any problem with music. I mean, yeah.
Okay. I think that was all of them. Rachel, can you just clarify one thing from what you were just discussing though? We can or cannot do our own registration on a Google form. It sounds like we cannot.
No, you definitely can. And I think it's a good thing to do because that way you can collect more, direct information about who's going to be attending. And so that's a link that you can just add to your event description. I mean, people will still need to register because they'll need the QR code to enter, but for your own purposes as an organizer, if you want to create your own system for collecting registration, you can do that and you can add that link in your event description as like an RSVP link or something like that.
Got it. But it would have to be like a second step.
Right. Because
like they have to register for the platform. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks,
No
everyone.
problem. Okay.
Rachel, can I interrupt it very
Yeah,
briefly?
for sure.
Because I know the QR code and entering the building maybe kind of it was a little bit of a surprise because someone pointed out, Pamela, thank you, that in our FAQs, it actually says that it's open to the public and there's no pass, registration, or confirmation necessary to enter the venues. We're going to edit that. And this year, we're just being particularly careful for in-person events. We met with the police in that area, and they thought it was a good idea to make sure that everyone that's entering the buildings were actually associated with our forum. Again, it's a deterrent, we don't want just anybody just coming off the street either. And so this is something new that we've added, and please spread the word. Now, if you have already like an ECOSOC UN badge, you don't need a QR code on top of that because your UN badge definitely can serve as your entrance into the building. But just wanted to flag that since that is definitely something new we've just started incorporating this year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivy, and thanks, Pam, for flagging that. Yeah, like Ivy said, it is new, so I think it was included in our last newsletter, but we're definitely still trying to get the word out, so please share with your networks. I'm going to take Jane, Annette, and then Mia.
Hi, thank you very much. You might be disturbed to see my face because I've been bombarding your email boxes, so I thank you for your patience. So I'm coming from Canada, and so there are a lot of issues, obviously, and security is top of mind. So I'm relieved to hear that people coming in will need a QR code. And I wanted to just follow on that a little bit more to say, what other form of security is there in the chapel, in the building? We'll be in the chapel. And then secondly, which is attached to that, because of the fluidity, let's say, of the situation right now, I just want to confirm, I think from what's been said, this is the case, but if some of my speakers are not able to get into the United States, or do not feel safe coming into the United States, they can participate. We can have a hybrid panel where we bring them in by Zoom, as long as we bring our own equipment for doing that. Those are my questions. Thank you so much, Jane.
Annette?
Hello, everybody.
Okay, hello. Oh, did you say night?
Oh,
Can
no,
you hear me?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, I'm still at the basics level, I'm afraid. First of all, you
That's
both
okay.
very kindly offered your emails for clarification, but I didn't get your email addresses, either of them, down in time, you, Rachel, and John. However, I'm actually not running an event, although Zorin Hainsworth, my colleague, is. But what I didn't understand when I tried to get on the Hoover, what you call it, portal, in order to actually just make myself a timetable of how I was going to spend my time, because most of your conversation has been about how do you run an event. I'm actually interested in how do I create the sort of timetable that I want for the first week, which is all the time I'm going to be there. I'm afraid I can't be there for the second week. And how do attendees register? And, you know, we might be told, sorry, we can't take you, or, you know, not at that time or something. How do we do that? Because when I saw the opening slide, it looked again, as Shayla mentioned, as if there was just a tiny thing that said agenda, tiny lettering on one side. Does that then, for every, what I want is to be able to see the week and what's on at what time and where. Is that going to exist? And then secondly, are you running, is the NGO CSW Forum in New York, or whoever it normally was, going to be doing the in-person Sunday before it opens meeting somewhere, or is what we're doing here? I don't even know how to register for the forum. So I've sort of got a bit lost in how do we, if we're not running something, register to attend meetings?
Okay, thank you so much, Annette. We can definitely answer the question.
Thank you.
Just gonna go to Mia.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much. This might have already been partially answered, but I just want to confirm for virtual events, attendees don't have to register on Wova, right? So we can, when we're promoting the event, we can simply share the Zoom link or link to whatever platform we're using for the virtual event, correct?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll start with yours and then I'll go back. Yes, that's correct. We encourage everyone to register because it really helps us to see, you know, who is attending, even if it's virtually. And there is an option during registration to indicate how you will be participating in the forum, if you will be participating virtually or in person or in a hybrid way. But it is not required, of course, for virtual participants. So if you're promoting your event outside of the virtual platform, which we recommend for all organizers, they don't have to register unless they're in person. So I hope that answers your question. I'm going to answer Jane's question and then I will get to Annette. So Jane, to answer your question about security, like Ivy said, we've been in contact with the NYPD and we will be having NYPD officers stationed outside of the venues. We're hoping that they won't need to do anything, but just in case, you know, we want to have that extra level of security should we need it. We also have personnel in the buildings who can help, you know, remove a disruptor or, you know, address any of those situations and try to de-escalate. But that is essentially what our security situation looks like. And of course, you know, making sure everyone coming in is either a registered forum attendee or has a badge for attending the UN CSW. And yes, if your speakers are not able to get into the US or they don't feel safe coming to the US, they can participate virtually. We just kind of always say that with an asterisk because there's always a risk of technical difficulties and we know, you know, how valuable the time is and we don't want our organizers to lose time trying to troubleshoot, but we will do everything we can to help support. We are a small team, so you know, we try to do our best and, you know, you can bring your own equipment and set that up. So yes, you can do hybrid, but we just warn that there's a possibility of technical difficulties.
Can I tack one other thing on? Does this building have metal detectors?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
No, it doesn't.
Annette, so I'm glad you asked this. We will be doing a participant training. So this is the parallel event organizer training to address all of the questions about organizing an event. And then next, I believe the Tuesday after next, we'll be doing our participant training. So normally on that Tuesday, we would be having our monthly meeting, but we will be dedicating that time to a participant training for February. But to your question about consultation day, the Sunday before the official start of the week, we are doing a virtual consultation day. So I think I have that link right here that I can share in the chat. So yes, to answer your question, we will be doing it, but we will be doing it virtually. And I'm also going to put the link for our participant training so that, you know, if anyone has questions about the attendee side, they will be answered then. I hope that answers your question, Annette. I'm going to take Knight, Mabintu, and then Susan.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, my question is that I know we've registered to have our forum on the second week, but you gave us second floor. You haven't indicated the room exactly, or rather the meeting of where we're gonna hold our event. Is it possible to get the name of the room? I know it's second floor, but we do not have the name of the room. So that's my question. Another question is that you indicated that we are going to have codes. I know last year I was attending in the UN building, so we had with the badge, but this time we are only organizing the parallel event. How are we going to access the code for our participants as well as the organizers? I'm a lead team of leading Daughters of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Knight. Mabintu?
Yes, thank you so much for answering all our questions. Really appreciate it. I have a quick question. I think you mentioned that we can include all the co-organizers, even if they are not lead organizers on the session, so people can see who will be there and who will be the speakers and all that. I was wondering how to include them. And also, when signing into the Wova account as the lead organizer, is there an option for me to enter speaker information and then go to the to my event and edit and all that? Because I noticed I can only access my event through my agenda, and I don't really have the option to edit my event unless I use the speaker form that was provided in a different email. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Susan?
Yes, thank you, Rachel. I don't know if John is still on the call today, but my question was about searching on the Whova platform. I want to be able to search for organizations, you know, all the events offered by any particular NGO. And I haven't really been able to do that successfully. So and I can't search for my own organization's events by our organizational name. And so is there some way that Whova can add something so we can search by organization, or is there some way we can use the existing setup to be able to do that? And then the second question is, and I know other people have asked this too, when are the QR codes going to be issued for people who are not going to have a blue badge? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Susan. So I'm going to go to Knight's question. So I'm going to also defer to Ivy on this one, but I believe the second floor the room is kind of right there when you come out of the elevator. Is that correct?
I've been there before, but I was asking the wrong number because what I know is like sometimes we have like 2 rooms having different meetings.
The second floor, it's just that one.
It's the only room.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ivy and Elaine, for confirming. And I guess we can address the QR code question since, that seems to be a question for multiple people. John, do you think you could walk us through how to access that QR code
Yeah.
from the portal?
Sure thing. So, in regards to the QR code, everyone during registration or after you complete registration, you will receive a confirmation email from Huba. Within this confirmation email, in the middle of the body, your QR code should be included in there. In addition to the confirmation email, on the mobile app, you will have your QR code there. If you only have the virtual portal, then I would suggest you download the mobile app as well, and it'll be the same credentials as the virtual portal on the mobile app. On the mobile app, on the top left-hand side, where you will either have your profile picture or a letter of your name, you will click on that. The first setting below is my contact info and QR code. That's going to be the area where you find your QR code. So on your mobile app and on the confirmation email that you receive from Huva after you complete registration.
Thank you so much, John. And just to reiterate, we will be going over this in more detail during the attendee training. There will also be a tutorial video available on the YouTube channel shortly. If you click on the link that was shared to the resources slide, there is a link there to our YouTube channel. The video is coming soon, so it's not there yet, but it will be there. And that will be a handy reference for you to easily access that information. I'm going to go to Mabintu's question about including co-organizers. So when you set up your speaker form, like we said, that is you completing your lead organizer profile. So there won't be a place there to input other organizers. Since there is one lead organizer, we recommend including information about co-organizers and co-sponsors in the description of the event and or in a flyer. We recommend including it at the very least in the description because the description is searchable, and this kind of gets to Susan's question as well. Any kinds of key terms or keywords you add into the description will be searchable keywords when you're searching the agenda. I'm going to ask John about I don't believe, John, is there on the platform a category for like company or organization that's associated with a lead organizer profile that would be searchable?
Yeah. Annette, this was your question, correct?
This was Susan.
Oh, Susan, gotcha. So on both the virtual portal and on the mobile app, you are able to search, but how Huva kind of like categorizes this is by affiliation, and it's up to the lead organizer and any attendee to add that affiliation to their profile. For example, if anyone has their virtual portal pulled up right now and clicks on the attendee tab, and I can share my screen for this also if you don't have it pulled up. For example, if we're trying to search me, my organization is Huva. So if I type in Huva, I will pop up. So I have Huva in my profile as my organization / affiliation. So that's how you'll be searching people. If first and foremost, the attendee has it on their profile, you'll be able to search up that affiliation on the virtual portal and the mobile app.
And that will be searchable within the agenda as well.
Oh, was a question for the agenda?
Yes.
So for the agenda, it's by session name, location, or speaker name, not by organization.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, highly recommend completing your event description and including all of the organizations that you are working with, your organization as lead organizer and any other co-sponsoring or co-organizing organizations. So people can search by the organization name, because anything, like I said, that's in the description will be searchable. I also wanted to note that, and this will be also part of the participant training, when you completed your parallel event applications, there was an option to indicate areas of the Beijing platform, the Beijing 12 critical areas of concern. Those will also be, you can filter by those 12 critical areas when you're searching for events. So if you want to search thematically, you will be able to do that as well. Okay, we have about 9 minutes left, so I want to make sure we can get to everybody. I'm going to go to Maria, Neri, and then Safa.
Hi, can I speak? Is it Marina Rudenko, do you mean?
No, we're going to do Maria Voskanyan.
Ah, okay.
Hello. Yeah, I have two questions actually. The first one, is it possible to change the organizer lead? I mean, to change the email, to have the access from another email? And the second one, before you share the registration link, I just downloaded because I didn't know that there is a dedicated link for registration. I downloaded the Wuha app. I just signed up. And then it asked me for the invitation code when I went to CSW event. So in terms to avoid the confusion for people, should they go first to the browser, register there, and then log in through the application? Is it correct?
Okay, thank you so much. Neri, is Mabintu, do you have a new question, or is your hand just still up from the last question?
Oh, sorry, my hand is just up, but I think there was
okay.
one question that we didn't get through. Like, as a lead organizer, how can I access my event on the Wuva platform, the virtual platform? And that was my last question.
Okay, so we actually went over that a couple of times. I'm not sure if you joined later. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to recommend that you watch the recording and also stay tuned for the tutorial video that will outline that information.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. Neri?
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to ask if the recording will be shared after this meeting so that those of us that missed part of it can go over it. And also if I can change, if the we can transfer the person that recorded, registered for the parallel event, if that can be transferred to another person.
Okay, thank you so much. Safa?
Yes, thank you. Basically, I have set up our profile on Hoover, but now I cannot really access. So I don't know if, John, have you ever faced such a technical issue? Like I received something like permission denied when I tried to access my profile. And then when I tried to set up the profile, I saw something like you can continue editing. Also, you mentioned this already earlier, that you can continue editing, uploading documents, etc. As we move forward. So I registered for some information, but for the flyer, guest speakers and stuff, we were waiting for also recorded video. We were kind of waiting for a bit of more more of a solid information on our event. But now I cannot really access the lead organizer profile on the Hoover. And also I'm on the platform right now. So I can see the profile that you, John, mentioned earlier, but my stuff, my agenda, I see only my personal information. I don't see anything about our event. So I don't know if you know any if you can please just guide us through this, or if you have ever faced something like this.
Thank you so much, Safa. So for for Maria's question about changing, and Neri also had this question about changing the lead organizer. We do have a change request form. You can change the person that has access, the lead organizer.
Rachel, I
So,
put it in the chat 2
Ah,
times.
thank you
It's
so
actually
much.
3 times, but you know,
Okay.
please check the chat, people.
So I'm gonna put it in one more time for good measure. But this is the change request form. You can submit there any lead organizer changes. There's also there an option to change your date and time for your virtual event. But you can also go in, and you should be able to do this yourself in the event editing page. So it's just one extra step if you do it in the change form. We had this form before we uploaded all the events to the platform and before everyone had access to it. So now that we've done that and everyone should have access to their event, you can actually change your date and time as a virtual organizer. But that is the form you would use for changing the lead organizer. And Neri, yes, this is being recorded and we will share it along with all the resources that we discussed. For Safa's question, John, I'm not sure if you understood the issue that she's having and if you have any insight on that.
Yeah, I actually understood it 100%.
Great.
When I'm taking a look at the backend right now, it looks like Safa, you have 2 profiles within the Hoover system. So there's just something Rachel and I will have to do probably after this meeting to get that fixed for you. And we'll reach out when we do.
Thank you, John. And I just want to reiterate that when you're creating your profile, you're a lead organizer and you want to have access to your event, you need to use the same email. Is that right, John? Does it have to be the same name as well, or is just the email needs to be the same?
Just the email.
The email needs to be the same. Otherwise, you will get a duplicate account, and then we will have to go in manually and reassign your profile to your event. So please be sure to use the email address that you used at the time of application. I'm going to go to Neri. Is your hand still up, or do you have a new question?
Asking me?
Neri.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, it's an old hand.
Ah, okay. No problem. I'm going to go to Mylene, Robin, and Marina.
Yes, thank you. It's very fast. Can I have this session like recorded by a video maker, like photographer?
For your parallel event?
Yeah.
I
Thank you,
believe
person.
that's okay. Ivy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they can have a video recorder in the building.
Yes, that's totally fine, up to you. And of course, it just really depends as an event organizer. You know, sometimes we make an announcement before recording or taking pictures of participants just to,
Okay.
yeah, just to make sure. Some people, you know, are,
Announcements.
yeah, but otherwise, if it's focused on the speakers, it shouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah, it's basically on the speakers. Okay, great. And there was only one more question. We got an email to upload the documents, but this is only for remote events, right? Or to whoever is gonna broadcast, and we are not doing it. So we don't need. We are just uploading like photos in our profile. Is this correct? Or for a presentation? But for the presentation, if it's broadcasted, right?
So either a virtual or in-person events can upload documents.
Okay.
So yeah, that's up to
But-
you as the organizer.
But the in-person events, the documents are not going to be shown at the session.
No,
Just
it's just for
seen,
people to see, like
to
when they're,
see.
yeah, when
Okay,
they're on the
great.
platform. Mhm.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, and thank you for organizing. It was wonderful.
Okay, Robin and Marina.
Okay, thank you. I'm asking this actually on behalf of a colleague who has a parallel event. And she says, is there a way for the organizers to see if the panelists are registered? when the organizers try to register them, because it looks to her that they're blocked. They may have been registered, but they haven't gotten the email confirmation, nor has she.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Marina?
Hello everyone, thank you very much for this session. I have registered in October at the waiting list and didn't have a chance to register in-person event. So is it right that I can now register online event and I don't need to pay a fee $125? Because I started the registration and the system is pretty the same as I registered my event for the in-person, but didn't have the chance to have it, yeah? So it's like empty, absolutely, and I have to repeat again who is the main organization, second organization, and pay fee.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me go to okay, so for Robin's questions, can you see, John, can the lead organizer see the registration of other attendees? I don't think so, right?
The registration, like adding it to their personal agenda, is that the question?
It's for the panelists that of the same session.
Panelists of the same session.
Mm-hmm.
If the panelists are listed also as lead organizers and or speakers of that specific session, they should be able to. On the mobile app, there's a speaker hub where it says my session and audience, and you should be able to view those who added it to their personal agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are classified as a lead organizer for your event, they should be able to see who added your event on their agenda / registered for your event.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she just wanted to see if her panelists have actually registered, and I'm sure they're using not mobile, but that they are online.
So there will only be one lead organizer per
Right.
event. So are you asking if they'll be able to see if they added they added the event to the agenda, or if they
No,
just
if
on
just if the registrants, if the panelists have registered.
I don't think so, John, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. And for Marina's question, you were on the wait list. I see you on the wait list. And you should have received a link with a selection of in-person slots. So did you receive that email?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I will follow up with you via email. But if you are not able to move from the wait list into an in-person slot, you will not have to pay anymore. There's no further payment required because the fee for joining the wait list was the same as a virtual slot.
Is it still possible to have in-person event if I were in the waiting list?
It depends on what is still available there. The
Okay.
email was sent out a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not sure exactly how many are left at this point, but I will follow up with you via email.
Okay, thank you, Rachel.
No problem. Okay, we are 5 minutes over time, so I'm gonna ask that the last 4 hands go very quickly. So Fatima, Barbary, Maria, and then Priscilla, and we won't be able to take any more after that.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm gonna be really quick. I'm Fatima Valdivia from Jazz, and we submitted 2 proposals, one for an in-person event and one for a virtual event. The in-person event is perfect, it's already on the platform, that's fine. Right now, I cannot find on the HOVA platform any information about the virtual event, which is difficult because we really need to put information, everything you described all today. So I
Okay.
really need to know
Okay.
more about that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask?
Barbary?
Yes. Does every speaker at our virtual session have to be an ECOSOC accredited member of the UN?
I'll just answer your question now because it's easy. No, you do not need to be an ECOSOC accredited.
So it's just the lead organizer that has to be, and then other people
No,
can speak.
no, nobody has to be to participate in the forum. We are open to all NGOs regardless of ECOSOC status.
Okay, thanks.
Priscilla?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Priscilla Garces. I am a UN rep for Women's Federation for Rural Peace and a disability advocate as well. The question that I have a couple of questions in terms of the events, but I also have a suggestion too. So to start off with my question, is the platform, the Hoover platform, accessible for people with disabilities? Like, is it user friendly when it comes to finding the events and registering? Because I have a visual impairment and I use a screen reader to access the information for the screen, for registering, and also for trying to find the events and locate them. And also, there is a mobile application. So I was just wondering if that is accessible. And another suggestion that I also think is important to include is that when hosting in-person events, that there should also be a section where you can list the accessibility accommodations in the in-person event, so that this way, if there are any users with disabilities, they could be able to attend. I'm also part of other committees as well, like the accessibility committee, and we also would participate in doing the recommendations for accessibility in terms of hosting in-person or virtual events. So I just wanted to point that out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. We really appreciate that recommendation, and we're definitely going to look into how we can make sure that that accessibility information is available for all of the in-person spaces. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, is there opportunities to participate as a speaker in the events too? And how could I go about, registering for that? Thank you.
Thank you. Mona and then Maria.
Yeah, hi. My name is Mona, and I just wanted to ask for the virtual event, is the main sponsor, the person who's organizing has to be an NGO. If it's an individual associated with NGOs, is that okay?
Thank you so much. And then Maria.
Yeah, Rachel, I just wanted to ask the same question. It wasn't answered about invitation code. So if person registers through the app, not with the registration link, and then when they go to CSW, there is a pop-up that invitation code is required. We are starting our email campaign, so I just want to be very clear when communicating with the people who want to register. Could you please tell me how to do that?
Yes, thank you so much, Maria. So I'm going to go back to Barbary. Does every speaker need to register? Or does every speaker need to be an ECOSOC accredited NGO? No. And the organizers do not either. John, I wanted to turn to you to ask about the usability of Whova for people with disabilities. Are there any features on the platform?
Yeah, we actually have like an official document regarding our accessibility conformance report if anyone would like to inquire about it. And I'll happily share it with you. But in regards to accessibility and the features of Hoover to make it easy for peoples with disabilities to navigate, it is extremely easy. We support non-text content. We support audio only and video only. We support captions. We support audio description. We support use of color, keyboards, et cetera, et cetera. So just from a front-facing standpoint and to summarize, we do heavily make Hoover and the use of our platform accessible to not only attendees, but to all users.
Thank you so much, John. And to answer your question, Priscilla, about speaking opportunities, any speaking opportunities would come through parallel event organizers. So we don't have an official channel for, for speaking opportunities. And I think I accidentally skipped over Fatima. Your question about your virtual event. Like we said at the beginning of the session, we're not completely through uploading all of the virtual events because they are still coming in. So most of them are uploaded, but we're still working on getting the rest of them up because we have to do them one by one after the bulk upload. So it is taking a little bit of time, but we are doing our best to get it up as soon as possible. And if you would like to send me your event ID number for your virtual event, I can follow up with you via email about the status of that.
Thanks, Rachel. The issue with the virtual event, sorry, I'm going to be really quick, is that I don't have an ID because I guess for having an ID, I should have confirmed the virtual event and I never received that link, that email. I have the ID for the in-person event, but not for the virtual one.
Okay, so you should have received an email from Neon after you paid for the virtual event. You should have gotten a receipt or a confirmation of your application with just sort of like an invoice and a copy of all the information that you input. The event ID number will be in there. It most likely starts with the numbers 17. So if you check there, you should be able to find it. And Mona, your question is about if an individual can be the lead organizer. An individual needs to be associated with an NGO to be a lead organizer. The lead organizers need to be affiliated with an NGO. And I think, Maria, your question about an invitation code, I think the issue is that, when you made your account, you might have used a different email address. Is that correct, John? The invitation code issue?
That is one part to it, but Maria, just to start from the very beginning, you will have to register for the event on Hoover registration, right? Like you were mentioning before. That's the proper kind of like flow of this. You register for the event on Hoover, then you download the mobile app, then you put in that email and password. You shouldn't have to search for the event after that because the event will pop up then and there. And
Yeah, that's exactly what
yeah.
happened. So basically, I should go to browser and register from the website, right? And then I
Yes.
should go to the app. Okay, thank you. That's
Correct.
what I wanted.
And make sure that when you register, now if you're going to be doing it, to use the same email that you use to create your Hoover account. Just so, yeah. And I'll put the registration link on the Zoom chat again.
Thank
you. Thank you so much, John. I'm just going to say one more thing about the participant training. Anybody who is interested in participating in the forum should join. It's also useful for organizers to join so that you can give information and pass information along to those who you are expecting to attend your events. So I will put the registration link for that again in the chat. But there will also be information going out via email and on all of our social media sites about the participant training. So if there are no more questions, we are out of time anyway. So I'm glad that we were able to get to so many questions. thank you everybody for joining us and, sticking through and being here. And thank you organizers, because we really owe it to you, the bread and butter of our forum. And like I said before, we will be starting a office hours 1-hour session on Fridays for organizers to drop in and ask their questions, because I think that will be a little more productive than email. So look forward to that. We will send that information out shortly. If everybody could turn on their cameras and unmute themselves and say goodbye. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Great
Bye.
job, Rachel.
Bye, everyone.
John, Rachel,
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
everyone.
Bye
Bye.
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 Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Good to see you.
Good to see everybody. Hi, Roseanne.
Bye.
Everyone, good to see you too.
Bye.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
everyone.